Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Hey there. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 80. And the burn-in period. As you all know, Steve and I moved to Ocala a little over 4 weeks ago now, and I can't even begin to describe what an amazing lifestyle change it has been for both of us. Maybe that would make a great episode. Anyway, at the beginning of the year, when we started thinking about it, even for us, the big dreamers and doers and making dreams come true couple, even for us, it was hard to imagine actually being on the other side of this. And now, here we are. And that is what it's like when you are trying to create a result. Even with our track record of making things happen, this one still had our brain playing all kinds of silly games with us. So that is to say that as you chase your dreams and set goals and pursue goals, just be very aware of the way your brain works. The way your brain works, and then your work on this journey is to manage the brain on the daily, hourly, sometimes minute by minute. With any goal, what you're really doing is growing your self-image and becoming a person who, or a woman who, or a man who, or a human who. Some of you are becoming runners, writers, managers, graduates with degrees, moms of littles, moms of teens. I heard from one of my listeners, and she has a goal of experiencing her daughter's teen years in a way that she can be proud of. That's her goal. She's growing her self-image to become that woman. I have another listener who's working towards a new role at work. So regardless of what it is that you are pursuing, your work is to constantly be thinking about the woman you are becoming and growing and evolving into, how you show up, growing and evolving your self-image so that you can become the person, the human who creates the result. That's your role. That is your goal. That's really it in a nutshell. But before you can run that marathon, you must first become someone who puts on their running shoes, right? Before you earn the degree, you must become a student. Before you get the promotion, you must become a different person than you are in this moment. I don't mean different in a way that our current self isn't good enough, but different in a way that you are always seeking growth, always willing to be uncomfortable on the journey and willing to take action. There is an in-between part. And there are phases within these in-between parts. The in-between part is the part between who you are now and who you are becoming. That is your journey. That is the part that requires all of this mind management. Each time we evolve a little towards the human that we are becoming, we need to let that growth burn in a little bit. Set that up. Let it take shape. Several years ago, I was working on a big project at work, and I learned a lot about big projects. Developing your self-image is a huge project, the biggest project ever, actually. So, what I'm going to teach you today is extremely relevant and useful as you evolve. The project that I was on involved changing an entire system for how employees process their work. Here's what's interesting. Even though the current system was outdated and clunky and inefficient, many of the employees preferred that system to the new system because it was what they knew. And what you know is what you feel comfortable doing day in and day out. So even in this project, the work was to help the employees see themselves as someone who could learn this new system and execute their work more efficiently. Part of the execution of the product was literally called the burn-in period. The burn-in period is the part of the project where we acclimate and allow for the acclimation for all of the pieces of the project. We allow time and space to fill in a little bit, and we give ourselves enough data to know where we might need to adjust as we come out of the burn-in period. As it relates to goals, the burn-in period is where you execute, new habits and new behaviors that support the person that you are becoming. You let that self-image catch up with who you are becoming. So if you are becoming a runner, you first become a person who puts on running shoes a few days a week. Then you create the habit of running a few minutes until a few minutes becomes a few miles. And each phase, you let that burn in. As you progress and up level and evolve, you have to give yourself time at that level, time to adjust, time to being the person at that level and let that burn in. Then you get ready for the next level. Here is why that is so important. If you don't allow for the burn-in period, you will rubber band back to the old thoughts and the old self-image. It's easier, it's more accessible, and it requires a lot less energy to go back there than to evolve. So your brain is constantly pulling you back into that old image. Your brain needs that burn-in period to acclimate. So right now, Steve and I are in the burn-in period while we transition living in this house, living in this town, and we are adapting to what it looks like and feels like. The burn-in period is a vulnerable period for you because you are out of your normal routine and all of the automation that you have accumulated over time. My sister went through this process when she lost over 100 pounds. She became a woman who no longer ate fast food 5 days a week. She had to take some time and allow this new self-concept to develop. She had a lot of automation to override, and even once you have successfully overridden your automation a few times, give yourself time to let that new habit of going home and cooking something healthy, let that have some time to burn in so that your self-image can catch up to the woman that you are becoming. Our brain wants to rubber band back if we don't manage it. I remember several years ago, as we transitioned the new systems at work, we really wanted our teams to stop using typewriters. We had developed technology and processes by which they could use their PC to create any document that was needed. It was mind-blowing how many people insisted on continuing to use the typewriter. Even though the new process was faster, more efficient, and could produce amazing documents, the employees were drawn to the old way, the way that they were more comfortable. But all they needed was time for a new system to burn in. So, how do you manage the burn-in period? Here we go. Number 1, recognize that it's where you are. Awareness that you are in the season of catching up with your future self, and notice when you feel a reverberation or a rubber band sensation coming on. Just notice, and don't be mean to yourself, just have a plan for it. Number 2, give yourself time and space and grace to settle in. When we were rolling out a new system, we gave the employees time to go slower. We didn't measure their speed or accuracy. We didn't measure their errors. We let them figure out their new muscle memory for processing their work. We praised them often. Give yourself a high five when you can. This is a huge movement right now, and I totally subscribe to the body language of the high five. And I would add, give yourself a wink and a nod too. Not just when you hit your goal, but all the way on this journey. Encourage that part of you that is stuck in your old image. Let her know it's okay to next level. You got this. Number 3, rest. We don't get enough sleep. And when you don't get enough sleep, everything that comes at you feels harder. It's like 10 times the hard button. Sleep gives our body time to digest our evolution. It gives us time to burn into our new self-concepts. Creating a life by design requires energy, and energy requires sleep. Number 4, resist the urge to judge. Your brain will tell you that this is too hard. Go back to the typewriter. Resist judging yourself and judging the process, and just allow the new habits to take shape and set in without measuring the result or punishing yourself if you slip. Encourage yourself every day that you allow your self-image to grow and catch up with your future self. She needs it. All right, that is what I have for you this week, my friends. And now I hope that you have the best week ever. That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you loved this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week bootcamp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results. If a one-on-one coaching program is more your jam, I am all in. Just shoot me an email and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.